Hey guys, welcome to another vlog review. This time we're going to be talking about Kamen Rider Ghost, the Kamen Rider series that recently finished. I just recently finished the last episode, 50th episode, so I'm going to get into my thoughts on the series now. So, this may have spoilers in it. I'll try to keep it as spoiler-free as I can, but I'm sure a lot of people want to know what my opinion is on it, because these Kamen Rider review videos tend to be pretty popular. So let me just get it over with here. So when it comes to Kamen Rider, I was pretty excited about Ghost. I liked the concept. Whereas I wasn't as excited about Drive. I thought Drive was going to be a meh series after the amazing Gaim, but Drive ended up being pretty good. In fact, really good. And I kind of thought that maybe we'd have that same fatigue again, and maybe a little bit, but I'd have to say that I think Kamen Rider Ghost was very good. Would I say it's fantastic? It's pretty close. It's not like amazing or fantastic, but it's pretty close. It's a very good series. And I seem to be in the minority on that. Apparently a lot of Tokyo fans do not like it as much, at least not as much as at first. I will say there was a little bit of a period where I was like, I wasn't too sure, but I mean, in the overall grand spectrum of things, I ended up liking the series. So, Kamen Rider Ghost is about Tenkuji Takeru, who on his 18th birthday, he is killed by an enemy ghost, or Ganma, as they're called in this series. And yeah, our hero is dead. That's hardcore as shit. Well, I mean, it being a kid's show, it's as hardcore as it can be. But as we saw with Gaim, they don't give two fucks about their blood or anything. Anyways, so he is able to come back to the living world as a ghost, and he's able to transform into Kamen Rider Ghost, because you have to be a specter at some point to become a rider in this series, and or some kind of ghostly being. And yeah, and then he is given 99 days to collect 15 icons, like this Newton icon I have of the icons of the legendary heroes, historical heroes. And if he gets all 15, he gets a wish. They're basically like Dragon Balls, but they give him power as well. So there's these, and so he has 99 days to collect them, and that's the main plot of the series. But at the same time, there's something else going on. The Ganma are attacking, and they are trying to also get control of the hero icons, so they can use them for their own deeds, or at least that's what it starts out as. We also have Makoto, who is our Kamen Rider Spectre, our secondary rider, who is trying to restore his sister Kanon, or Kanon, back to life, because she is stuck as just an icon right now. He's been reduced to that. And then from the Ganma side, we have the Ghost Prince Alon, and one of my favorite characters. He's also fabulous. And he is trying to help his father's goals of making the Ganma world great again. I'm sorry I made that joke. So it's a very interesting series, and there's a lot going on, and lots of fighting and infighting and whatnot. The one thing I'll say is the ghost abilities, like being able to float and whatnot, those pretty much get non-used throughout most of the series. Like, you see them the first episode, I think somewhere in like the 42nd episode or something, and they don't mention them that often. So the ghost ability, it becomes standard Kamen Rider fare after that. With that, there's been a lot of people comparing this series specifically to another Kamen Rider series, and I guess in a negative fashion, that'd be Wizard. I don't know if I gave a vlog review on Wizard, or if it was with the Toku Corner, but I remember saying I thought Wizard was kind of kind of meh. Wasn't a terrible season, but it just didn't have, there was nothing to it. It wasted its time. And with Wizard being the longest Kamen Rider season, like 53 episodes, it wasted that time. A lot of people have been comparing that to Ghost, and there simply is no comparison. Ghost is a vastly superior series to Wizard. And I'll just get out some of the comparisons people make. You've got Akari and Onari. Akari is Takeru's longtime friend. She's also going to school to try to be a scientist. She's interested in science. And at first she's like, oh, ghosts aren't real. Except my best friend's a ghost. So I guess they are real, but science will prove that they aren't real or something sciencey. Cue my mention of Dr. Science for the 400th time. And then Onari, who is the head, one of the head priests, monks? Monk. Yeah, I think he's a monk of the Tenkuji Shrine. He is very much on the spiritual side. He's kind of overreactive. He's kind of hyperactive. But he means well with everything he does. So, a lot of people compare Akari and Onari to Daimon and Shunpei from Wizard. And I can see why, because Shunpei's like Onari. They're both hyperactive. They're both interested. They want to be a part of it. They want to help out. And then Daimon, or I forget her other name. Is it Kiriko? I can't remember. The cop lady. I think it's Kiriko. I don't know. Her and Kari being the more intellectual ones. Though, here's my big difference with these two. So, Akari and Onari are actually useful. Daimon and Shunpei aren't. They do have important plots relevance in each of their series, but Akari and Onari get a lot more accomplished. Onari, being a monk, has a spiritual side, so a lot of the spirit stuff he might not understand it all, he has enough of an understanding to be useful, as well as he's been good for distractions and stuff like that. Shunpei never was a good magician until the crossover movie with Gaim. And even then, he's still kind of an apprentice in that, and he wasn't really useful. He didn't do much other than try to get people to safety and scream and yell a lot. And Onari does that too, but Onari actually takes part in battle, and there's actually, and I'll mention this when I review the movie, but there's actually some really good unmorphed fights in Ghost, really, really good ones. A lot of the characters take place in battles, and this is where I want to put Akari as well with Daimon. Despite being a police officer, Daimon almost never shot her gun, and when she did, it wasn't effective. She was not a good character or a good police officer. She was a waste of time. And Akari was actually making gadgets. She's kind of like Billy from Power Rangers. She was making gadgets and finding other ways to fight the ghosts. Even though she wasn't a rider herself, she found ways. And I thought that was really unique. She opened the damn portal, for God's sakes. She figured out how to do it. She was very useful. You could say Daimon had connections because she was a police officer, but she didn't use any, she wasn't utilized at all. She wasn't utilized all that much, I should say. And the only time she had character was in the very beginning, in the first episode, when it was focused around her. And that's any other time in the series, it was just wasted potential. So it's unfair to compare these characters to, these side characters to the side characters from, Wizard, because there simply is no comparison. Ghost takes it all the way. Now, another thing I want to talk about is another thing that people compare when they talk about Wizard and Ghost is that Wizard had its pacing all over the place and was slow and didn't get to the point, whereas with something, say, like Ghost, it also had its pacing all over the place, but Ghost's problem wasn't because they didn't use their time effectively. It was they tried to put too much into every episode. And this is one of my complaints. It almost like the pacing like was getting ridiculous. Like it would slow down, but then it would pick up right away. So allow me to take a page from Linkara's book and say, slow down. You're giving the children heart attacks. Like, I think there was like 1 or 2 episodes where they put like, there was an episode where Alan had to do a thing because he was lagging behind the others. And, Makoto was fighting like a clone, and you had Takaru not being able to believe in himself, and then you had Akari trying to make a gadget, you have Inari doing things, and his side people doing things, and then you have Javel doing things. It's too much in one episode. We don't need to focus on every single character in every episode. And they just started cramming things into the episodes. Like, luckily the action was good, and it kept things at a decent pace, but it is just too much. Like, it almost felt like Ghost needed the 53 episodes that Wizard got, and Wizard could have been okay without those extra 3 episodes. Switch the episode counts around, and it would have made more sense, in my opinion. But I think in the long run they did a good job. So, what do I think of the characters? So Takaru, I already gave my thoughts on Onari and Akari. Takaru, I think, is a decent main rider. His main thing is believing in himself, and there is several times where he doesn't, and he has to go over those trials to believe in himself. I think Makoto was a good second rider. His original goal was to try to bring Kamen back to life by any means necessary, and that means, fighting with Takaru, even though Takaru's his friend, longtime friend, and stuff like that. So, the clone thing with him, I don't get why they had to do that. There's no reason. I hate it when they just force something in there, like just to give the character a little more to do. We didn't need that. He had his character development. We get it. But I think my favorite character was Prince Alan. I think he had the best character development. He started off as a villain, but then when he started realizing a bit more who he was, that it was important to follow his heart, and that he actually loved the way the Earth was, he realized that he was fighting for the wrong thing. And when he decided to change his ways, he was welcomed with open arms, which I think is great. A lot of series, they're like, well, you used to be a bad guy, how can we trust you as a good guy? There was a little bit of that at first, but as soon as Takaru and Makoto accepted him, he was, everybody sort of saw him as one of the friends, as one of the gang too. I'll also take this moment just to talk about the rider forms, I guess. I really like the design of Ghost and Spectre, and especially of Necrom. I think they all have fantastic designs. I like that the use of the icons, like the hero icons, the abilities you gain from them, and how he gained the powers from them. I think my favorite form of Takaru's was Grateful Damashi. Or I keep wanting to call it Grateful Dead because of the band Grateful Dead. But Grateful Damashi, I think, is my favorite form. And I wish that was his ultimate form, but it's not, because Infinite is. And again, this is where people compare to Wizard, because Wizard's final form is called Infinity and Ghost is Infinite. Here's my main problem with Ghost. So you've got his base form, which he has all the hero icon form. So that's one form with costume changes. And you've got boost form, which is basically a powered up form of the first form, and can be seen kind of as a super form, and can be used with the hero icons. Then you've got Grateful Damashi, which I thought was the ultimate form, like the final form, which utilizes all the power of all the hero icons. Then you've got Infinite, which is the actual ultimate form. You see what I'm going here? This power hierarchy is a little too broad. And I think it's trying to push toy sales way too much. Ever since Kamen Rider Wizard, we've had these like super forms, and you know what? A lot of the times I like the super forms more, but now we've got like powered up forms, super forms, ultimate forms. Like, one of the reasons why I like Kamen Rider O's so much is there is no ultimate form. There is no ultimate form. You could say that Putotira is the ultimate form, but I see that more as just a powered up form, not like a final form. He does have a final form that comes in the movie, but in the series, there was no final form. And the creators even said there is no final form for O's, which was the first time a rider hadn't had a final form in, I think, like 10, 11 years. But now we're at a point where, like, they're just trying to stuff, like, the toys at us. Like, I get it. You guys have to make money off of toy sales. These shows technically are toy commercials, but this is too much. We can't have a base form with its own other forms, powered up form, super form, and now ultimate form. Like, you can cut some of those out. Like, we don't need, like, Tokan Boost was good enough. Like, a Grateful Damashi should have been his ultimate form. We didn't need infinite. And this is the part of Ghost that upsets me. When it gets to that point of the series, the whole point was like Takaru not only believing in himself, but believing in the infinite potential of humanity. And that's when it got too much. There's just too much happening. And now we've got a toy to go along with that. There's too much marketing happening here. You already have 15 icons for all the hero icons. And a powered up form, I get it, but we don't need more powered up forms. Like, just give us a base form with switches and an ultimate form. That's it. That's all you have to do. If you want to do a super form in between them, like Kachidoki or Formula, that's fine. You could do that, but stop piling on all these forms, these powered up forms that just like keep going. And another thing that people brought up is they were upset like how many times Takaru died. They made a big deal out of it, and then the same episode he'd come back to life. That's with all these powered up forms, because the first time he died, he was dead. He became a ghost. That's how he became a rider. The second time he came back to life because of the Tokan Boost, which was his father's soul. Okay, I get that. That's important. Then there's like 2 or 3 more other times he died in the series, and I'm like, how many times can one character die before he's dead? Like, make up your mind. Is he dead or is he not? So it got a little ridiculous. Now, this is a little easier with Makoto because his ultimate form was the Deep Spectre, which is a really cool icon. I wish I had it. I'm trying to get it, and is sort of like deal with the devil kind of thing, but not really. They never really expanded on it except for the whole clone thing, but that was stupid. That form is really cool, and I want that icon for Deep Spectre. Here's another thing that I want to mention, and this comes to us talking about Necrom. Why do the third riders always get the shaft? How come Necrom doesn't have an ultimate form? How come Ghost can have 2 superpower forms and an ultimate form, and Spectre gets an ultimate form, but Necrom doesn't? And there was a whole episode based on it, and I'm glad they did this to sort of base it on. And I guess he kind of got a super powered up form, but it was a basic icon, hero icon, so I don't count it. It's disappointing. The third riders keep getting the shaft. And guys, if you're going to give ultimate forms to the other riders, you got to give the third rider an ultimate form. It's only fair. Like, I'm a little weary with X-Aid, the new Kamen Rider that's coming out, because there's quite a few riders that have announced so far, and I can already foresee some of these guys not getting like any power-ups or very minuscule power-ups. And I want this trend to stop. Instead of giving the main rider so many powers that maybe he's not going to use, that you gotta force him to use from time to time to sell toys, maybe give the third rider an ultimate form, or give the third rider a little more forms. The same thing happened with Wizard. Like, it's just like they had powered up forms and then an ultimate form for Wizard. There was a ultimate form for I forget what the second rider's name is. It's escaping me right now. Beast. And Kamen Rider Mage, the third rider. I know there was like several of the third rider type got like no power up, and I thought that was kind of lame. Gaim opened this up a little more because it was a little more standardized. There were ultimate forms, but everything was pretty much based on the lock seeds that everybody have. Anybody could get any power, essentially. It wasn't limited to a person, so I let that one slide. Drive kind of had it evened out because there was dead heat. But again, the third rider got the shaft. He didn't get any power ups, and his signal bike ended up being another power up for Mach. So this is something that I wish would stop, because a lot of the times I really like the third introduced rider, and they just always get the shaft because they come in like later on in the series. Like in my opinion, it's not fair, and I think that they should get some powers too. So if somebody at Toei who happens to speak English is watching this, please do something about this. Stop throwing toys at us, or if you're going to, give the powers to somebody else. Overall, the story of Ghost is kind of convoluted. The first bit of it with the whole come back to life storyline was pretty good. But when I realized how quickly it was going, I'm like, they're probably going to have some other kind of villain or something going on here. And they did. And they did the villain was a puppet thing. And it was all right. It was all right. It was well done. The whole I am the world thing was kind of lame. And like every time they were piling on the, oh shit, we're fucked, it was resolved by the end of the episode. So it just seemed to me like there was no point to all of it. The story was convoluted, but it still kept me watching every week. There was a period where I did like stop watching Toku for a while. That's because I had to focus on other things in my life, and I played catch up. But I didn't feel like I ever dropped Wizard because I was bored of it. But there was a period where I was like, I don't know if I want to keep going. It wasn't like Ninja where I dropped Ninja and just didn't want to go back into that. But yeah, I thought Ghost was a pretty good series. This has been a convoluted review. I've been on all over the place. I thought it was a very good series. You know, I don't think it's as bad as Wizard. I think people need to let up on that a little bit. Well, all 50 episodes are out now, and one of the movies is out, so if you want to go check it out, I say check it out. Leave me a comment down below on what you thought of Kamen Rider Ghost. Excuse me. As well as subscribe to my channel if you want to see more reviews like this. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr if you want to keep to interact with me on social media, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog review. Later.